Angel's having another deck dinner because she's going to eat some of this. It's lamb in a bag.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about A Good Woman is Hard to Find, which got top of the stack, even above Your Honor and the other lamb. And James is going to eat some soup, which I made with those Great Northern beans. And I'm going to keep disinfecting my groceries. But first I'm going to talk about the lamb and the video.
I was trying to keep Angel from falling down.
Yeah. So, I guess I'll talk about the videos first, and then James might get talking after while I'm doing all this stuff.
Yeah, I might.
So, this, I didn't expect anything of it. It seems like it was made in Ireland. I don't know for sure. But, yeah, it says United Kingdom, Belgium, Ireland. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably Ireland.
But, at first when this movie came on, it didn't even have previews. It just right away went onto the screen, you know, play film, da-da-da-da. So, I thought, well, this is going to seem pretty homemade. But wow, is this story ever believable? You're going through this, and this is the same kind of thing as this. You know, there's a criminal sort of thing. You wonder, okay, well, why is she going along with this sort of thing? Like, well, she's not really, she's against her will. She doesn't want to go along with what happens in this story at all. It's just, it's thrust upon her. And at the time you're thinking, why wouldn't she call the police? And then you find out why. And you get little hints along the way, you know, people are not treating her well. So you get little hints as to why she would go along with such things anyway. But, yeah, this story is so believable and really well done. Really well acted, everything. This is awesome. I didn't expect it to be. If you're into sort of drug, crime, stories, whatever. And, I mean, you can see she's holding an axe on the cover. There's going to be some violence there. But wow, is this ever worth watching?
A Good Woman is Hard to Find, is what?
Yeah. I don't know about the title.
Can I see the cover?
But, and based on the title and the cover and the, you know, how it opened up, I thought, this is not gonna, you know, why'd I just get whatever from the library to watch while I write poetry. I didn't write a poem while I watched this. I just watched this. This is worth it. So, anyway, then Your Honor, this is the first season, and honestly, I did like the first season more than the second season, and I liked that I watched the second season before the first. It actually tells the better story going that way, as far as I'm concerned. So, The Other Lamb. This one was really creepy. It looked quite believable. There was beautiful mountain scenery, and it's, you know, it feels like almost maybe a little later even than this time of year. You know, watching this, it's like you don't want to be having to find a new home, walking to find Eden in this kind of weather. You want to already have all your ducks in a row. And so there's that. And this is a story about a religious cult. And it's really creepy. There's some things in here. I watched a movie recently and I was like, it seemed like they really did kill that, I think it was a goat in the other movie that I saw recently. For the film. It was really creepy. It looked very believable, and it was quite disturbing. There's some of that in this, and I'm wondering if movie makers are allowed to kill livestock on film now to make movies. because this looked real. And this goes beyond killing. There was one scene with a lamb that was born without skin, and it lifted its head up. And so I'm wondering, did they actually skin a live lamb? I don't know. I mean, you don't know. So that was quite creepy for me to watch. And if they are doing that to animals for films, I am bottom of the stack every time.
Well,
Honestly,
they are.
You cannot do that.
People who make films are aggressive propaganda.
They are.
Aggressive? What type of propaganda is that?
Yeah.
Shut up.
So anyway, that's all I have to say about those. Good Woman is hard to find. It's hard to find a movie that good about the drug. This is cute, eh? She can't do anything with that. She doesn't have teeth. But
She seems motivated.
she sure does. She seems very motivated, but it's not going to work out for her unless I help. So you can go on and talk about whatever you want. We went to the grocery store just now and got some awesome deals. That bag of mini pumpkins there, which I will be stuffing for Thanksgiving dinner, or one of our Thanksgiving dinners.
Awesome.
Yeah, I got many bags of the mini pumpkins. I got baby boos and tiger stripes, and those because I love stuffing these small pumpkins.
We've had them before.
Oh yes,
yeah,
we've had tons of them before. There was one year we went to the food bank and no one was taking them because they thought they were just ornamental. They didn't think they were food. And I was like, no, you can eat these things.
I can remember that.
It's great, yeah. So we got like a whole supply for the winter. We got to store them,
Lasted a long time.
Yeah, it lasted a long time because the winter squash lasts a long time. So you just have to check on them. Every once in a while you go through the batch and you go, okay, this one's starting to feel, the skin's not so hard, you gotta get it used. So anyway, I got those and I look forward to stuffing them. And I got them for $1 a bag. They were selling them because they had them.
This whole bag is $1.
$1 for all of those little pumpkins.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
6 pumpkins.
Yeah. And really, that's a good side dish. I prefer stuffing those little pumpkins. Like when you stuff the tiger stripe ones, well, that's pretty much a meal. You know, that's a main course you're getting there because that's a lot of pumpkin. And when you stuff the big squash, well, that's for the whole family. That's the centerpiece for the table, right? But if you just have a little family, like we do with our little chihuahuas and stuff, it's best to just go with the mini pumpkins.
Yeah,
And
no, understand. Our 2 other chihuahuas aren't nearly as small as they
no,
They're still small.
they're still small. So what a great time. And I got the birds some more seeds so they can have a good Thanksgiving too. And
They were having a fairly good Thanksgiving a little early. Yesterday was a beautiful day. And they were picking away at, I saw 3 of them, at least, picking away at the apples.
at the apples, yeah, I like to leave, like for a while there I was trying to get all the ones from the top and everything, and it's like, no, the birds like them too, they need that stuff.
Exactly
So-
right. So there was a guy who was walking by, I don't think you were out.
Oh.
Do you eat those apples up there? No. What do you
Well,
think?
I eat the ones that are easy
Yeah.
to reach. Like people used to come by and take the low ones, and it's like, oh great, so I have to get up and get the ones on the ladder. So anyway,
Anyway, he seemed to think that, I suspect he was wanting to get out there and pick them up. Get your own apple tree.
well, they're not good anymore for eating. They're too mushy and stuff. You know, anyway, people wouldn't want to eat them now.
Anyway,
But
everyone gets so ambitious for your own trees.
yeah,
Good cherry trees.
yeah,
Oftentimes they're ambitious without asking.
yeah. But anyway, you might be wondering, you might think, well, you're commenting on people using killing lamb for movie, and here you're feeding lamb to your little chihuahua.
This
Well-
lamb was killed already.
This lamb was killed already. When we're, all of the meat that you see come our way, it comes from the food bank or the Salvation Army. So it has already been killed, and its life was wasted for nothing because it was killed for somebody to buy it, nobody bought it. So then it comes to us. So, this is,
It's not as though we go out and put
didn't
it to
kill
bed or something.
yeah. James, the soup he's eating right now, that is Great Northern beans. That's his protein in there.
Wow.
Mixed with rice and tomatoes and peppers and cauliflower and
It's rare for me to
Spices
eat
and
meat.
stuff.
I mean, I will eat oysters
yeah, he eats the seafood, but
because it's an awesome source.
there was one time recently
Yeah.
where he was really sick and he was eating some meat. But put that aside, and that's still, if you've been watching, that's lasted Angel a long time. So, oh, there we go. There you go. Do you see it?
Use your
There
sniffer.
you go. She's got it. It took a little bit of time to find that. So, I'll just watch her while she's eating to make sure she doesn't fall, and then I'll get to disinfecting her.
So one of these shows, sorry,
So,
is about drugs.
well, the first two are. I don't want to touch the boxes now because now my hands
Yeah.
are all lamb until I disinfect them.
Lammy.
But anyway, yeah.
So they had a big show. I was just segueing.
Oh
Go ahead.
no, you do.
Right. Big show on CBC about drugs
Oh.
in Thunder Bay.
Oh,
Now that Lethbridge got rid of its supervised overconsumption site, and that supervised overconsumption site, what does that mean? SOS. We're no longer the murder capital of Canada. Thunder Bay is.
oh, okay. There you go.
Anyway, they were talking about drugs in Thunder Bay. I hadn't thought about it, like it's basically, excuse me, an international lake port. And they're saying a lot of it is international, like it's on Lake Superior.
Mm-hmm.
There's one fairly big American city on Lake Superior called Duluth. And so they probably get a lot of stuff coming in there. And the sad thing about Thunder Bay is it's right next door to a lot of indigenous American settlements and stuff like that. Anyway, there was a whole lot of crying about how drug addiction is an illness. Stop right there! Before you go any further, stop the line.
Did you
Okay.
see the rest of it? There it is. Good stuff, hey?
Drug addiction is not an illness.
Oh,
It is a little
there you
bit
go.
like a self-inflicted injury. But I was thinking about it today. Like when you get hooked on it, you inflict an injury yourself. But you make a choice. Every time you use dope, you make a choice. It's different. It's like you keep on injuring yourself. Injure. You make choices. Choices, they were comparing, like people get cancer and they get treatment and all that sort of stuff. Now, some cancers, people make some choices. Like a person's a smoker. Mine, I asked the doctors, what did I do wrong? 2 separate guys. 2 separate occasions. Both times they said, how many of your uncles on your mom's side died of cancer. Of the 5 who survived past World War II, I had one who died. He would have been something like in his early 20s. And he was air raid in England. And anyway, and the war was almost over. Anyway, sorry, I'm hungry. So both of them asked me, independently, different occasions, different individual, how many of your uncles died of cancer? So of the 5 that made it into their, well into their adult years, 4 of them died of cancer. I said 4. And they said, see, with you, it's just inherent. But you know the difference between lung cancer, someone who's been a long time smoker, and addiction is you can't make it. Oh, I'm going to have lung cancer today. I think I'm going to have a case of lung cancer today. Well, that's different from, hey, I think I'm going to have a cigarette today. Or I think I'm going to have that shot of fentanyl today. See how different it is? No, you wouldn't. At least you all half a brain of the one nifty shifty lefty watching. So it doesn't matter how many times you say addiction is an illness. It's not. Get that straight. It's not. It's a self-inflicted injury, and it's an injury that's inflicted every time a person uses it. If you're addicted, cut it out. Cut it out. You know what? You know, you're probably thinking, all half a brain watching me, of the nifty shifty lefties. Oh, what do you know about? Hey, I've been on an opioid. It wasn't my choice. You know, they wanted to put me on. My back was in bad shape. I got 5 fractured vertebrae. You think that's fun? You think that doesn't hurt? I'm still in bad shape, but I was in worse shape about 11 years ago. And they wanted to put me on an opioid. And you know what? My horizons have kind of opened up since then. Back then, my horizons, my chronological horizons, were 18 months on the outside with treatment. They never used the word, but I was terminal. And so my lead doctor wanted to put me on opioids. I was in some fairly serious pain. You try out 5 fractured vertebrae. And so she wanted to put me on, I think it was hydromorphine. And I didn't want to go on. All she said to me, they never used the word terminal, but this should illustrate to you what I was facing. She said, James, you're dying. Who cares if you get hooked on an opioid? James, you're dying. Who cares if you get hooked on an opioid? It was stunning. You know, like they had me on a mild chemo called Velcade. I was just to keep me alive for 18 months on the outside. Because my kidneys were so shot that I couldn't take stem cell therapy. Now, luckily, within the space of a month and a half, something like that, my kidneys did recover. They rebounded. They weren't expecting it at all. So I haven't just taken 1 stem cell therapy, I've taken 2. About 4 years in between each. And yeah, James, who cares if you get hooked on opioids? You're dying, and I don't know how people can get hooked on opioids. You know, when I was taking that Velcade, I thought the chemo was causing the nausea. I've taken Velcade twice, 2 separate occasions. I think it was 3 months each time. And the first time, it was just the first month or so, was to try and keep me alive for 18 months. Luckily enough, it helped me to the point where that first month served as the first month of 3 months consecutive, preparing me for stem cell therapy. And about 4 years later, 4.5 years later, whatever, I went through that same process again. Velcade, mild chemo, to get me ready for stem cell therapy. 3 months of it. And it did the job. It did the job the first time. And the important thing is, man, when I was getting ready for that Velcade the second time, 3 months of it, I'm going to have to put up with 3 months of nausea. 3 months of nausea. Because I went up through 3 months of nausea the first time out. But the second time out, I wasn't on the opioid. And guess what? The chemo was so mild, I had no nausea at all. What was causing the nausea the first time out? Well, you know, you eliminate the Velcade, and what's the only medication I was on? Hydromorphone. And I can remember when they first hammered this stuff at me. I understand it wasn't a beginning dose. It wasn't topped out dose, but it was in the middle. They upped it up. They were trying to get it to the point where it kind of made my back feel better. It didn't really help out. But at any rate, nausea right away. You know, like my head was kind of like spinning and stuff like that. What sort of idiots get hooked on garbage like that? Nausea right away. Nausea all the way through. What sort of idiots get hooked on that? You're an idiot if you get hooked on an opioid. You're a stupid idiot. I'm not going to say you deserve what you get. And the thing is, you keep on doing it. Drop the stuff. Guess what? How did I get off opioids? Because I was on them. Not my choice. And I was on them. Oh my God. It was about a year. And it wasn't entry level. How did I get off of them? Well, you know what? We were going between Grand Prairie, where I'd been diagnosed and that sort of stuff, and Lethbridge, where we're living now. So around Labor Day. We're coming down through the mountain parks, as they call them, here in Alberta. So these are the national parks. It doesn't include Waterloo. But Jasper, huge, big, long park, and Banff, which might even be almost as huge and almost as long. And we took parts of 3 days, as I recall. It was 3 days, right, coming down through the mountain parks?
I think so.
Yeah, 3 days. And uncharacteristically, I packed first. I think it's the first time I've ever packed first. And Pauline usually packs a lot of stuff. So ordinarily it doesn't make any difference because I packed right on the top of everything that she's brought along. But in this case, there was lots of stuff, a whole station wagon back full of stuff that Pauline had packed over the stuff that I'd packed, which were a few bits of clothing and my hydromorphone. I couldn't find it. I was exhausted. You know, the first day of walking, I think we did 10 miles of walking. Wow. I just had no energy for it. Huh? Okay. I didn't even bother after the second day. I think we did even more than 10 miles of walking the second day. And there was consecutive wear and tear on my back. And the third day, well, you know, like we did some walking and then we did some driving. So I went without the hydromorphone. Now, I've been told, don't cold turkey on this stuff. I'm going, wow, you know, like, how am I going to suffer more? Like, moving all this stuff away or going cold turkey? I cold turkey, but I didn't get any shivers. I didn't get any nausea. I didn't get any pain or whatever. No psychological pain. No craving. Now, I might have discovered a way of handling withdrawal. In other words, you walk so much that you end up with endorphins in your system, and the endorphins help counteract the withdrawal symptoms. I didn't feel anything. Now, I've got to understand, it wasn't as though I'd been hooked on fentanyl or heroin or something like that. But I don't know. You know, they were telling me, don't cold turkey on the breeds in the turkey.
And well, we figure it was the hiking that did it, the endorphins.
Exactly right.
But we
So
don't know. But
I, you know, like, hey, if I wouldn't, you know, like, I'm not a doctor. Don't, you know, like, if you have a bad reaction when you're withdrawing and you use my formula for it, don't come looking at me. I'm just telling you my own experience. I'm not an expert on it or anything like that. But I will tell you, I didn't feel a thing. Not a thing. I got no sympathy for people who can't drop this stuff. You know, you listen to John Lennon's Cold Turkey, Got Me on the Run. Who is this stupid idiot? You know, oh, you know, like he had deprived childhood. You know, like he was one of the most idolized people in the world. By the time he got on cocaine, and then to counteract it, I think that was around 67, he had to counteract the cocaine with heroin. He ended up getting hooked on it. I don't know when he did that Cold Turkey song. I think it was 1969. So a couple of years, he's having to do the cold turkey thing. Stupid. One of the most privileged people in the world, idolized, a fair amount of money. Of course, he was getting ripped off by his manager and all this sort of stuff. But you know, he drove around a Rolls Royce, painted psychedelic. He had a big fancy mansion out in what was it, Weybridge or something like that, and then after that it was Kenwood. You know, like, wow, you know, he can't handle that kind of privilege or something like that. He made a stupid choice. He thought he was real smart, getting, you know, doing the cocaine thing. Wow, this is awesome. You know, Freud got it all wrong. He was saying there was something wrong with it. You know, like 60 years ago, 2 generations. It's stupid. You can't get hooked on cocaine. Wow. And that's what people were saying around 1970. They'd known at the beginning of the 20th century to get hooked on it badly. But no. That generation, really smart. They were so smart. You know, playing this loud rock and roll music, you know.